In this video, we'll learn how to add texture and how it is important to know the light direction and how the light will behave on our object to be able to add texture that is relevant to the object itself. Hi everyone, this is David for Paintable, and today I want to talk about texture. Recently I created this tutorial for the Academy, and I thought that there was one concept in it that was really easy to explain and that could help a lot of people out there. So I want to talk about texture and how to make them look more realistic, basically. I see a lot of people doing this. What they're doing is they're having a texture brush, like I have many, and they're using them to add more details to the illustration, which, you know, is perfect. It's a great way to add texture, to add details really fast, right? So, you know, just painting on top of it. I'm trying to just add the texture like this. And the problem with this is, even though if I were to, like, you know, delete a few parts and just try to refine it, it looks a lot flat when it's just, you know, spray on this like this. If you were to just understand a little bit more lighting, how it works, then you would be able to take that that flat brush that we just put there and just add a little bit more 3D aspect of it. So adding a texture like this is great. It's a great base to just you know, to add some more visual interest on, let's say, that rock. Well, right now I'm doing a cube to give you an example, or a prism. But what you want to do basically is just create lights effect is what I would call, or create 3D effect, if you may. So basically, you want to take, like, the natural things that this brush been creating. So it has a lot of holes in it, small, big ones, and you can use that to your advantage and be like, all right, so I'm going to use one of them and create, you know, either a hole in this cube, or maybe something that gets out of it. So you want to take just the simple lighting that you already have created for, let's say, your piece, and then you want to create, all right, so maybe there's a rim of light here, and then if there's a rim here, it means that I'm going to have say a hole over here. I'm just going to render basically the effect that the light would do. Let me just show you an example real fast, just like this. So now I created a hole in this rock, or this cube, or prism, or whatever you're creating, basically. And now it starts to look like 3D. It doesn't look flat anymore. It's important to add those things. Adding a texture brush is going to be great, because it's adding all those details. If you look at my example right here, I had a lot of details on it with texture brushes, but then I went back onto it to add those things. Right now this is looking very like a hole has been drilled, but then you can go ahead and start designing, like, the corners. So maybe there's a piece of the corner of the side here that it's gone, so you can just paint some light, and if I paint some light, it means that I'm going to have some shadow at some place. So maybe the shadow comes from here, and then those two will blend together, and just like that. It was really easy. I just painted you know, a little hole, not a hole, but like a crack, let's say, on the side, so it makes the object more interesting. A lot more interesting than if I were just to put some render texture everywhere, basically. I'm just going to try to finish this to look a bit better. So something like that. And then you can start designing all sorts of different things. You can use the texture brushes to your own advantage. Meaning, like right now, I could use one of those patch right here. I'm going to maybe add another one here, and let's say that this is one of them. So that's going to be the top of something that goes out, just like that. I'm just going to continue paint on it. So just like that, I added like a piece that now it's on top of it. And it's really those pieces that are very important. Now the texture is in the back. is going to help just add some visual interest, but it won't do the whole job. You need to do those small pieces, and really it's as easy as making this prism. Really, you just need to know where the light source is. In this case, the lights come from the top or a little bit on the side, just like that. So I know that therefore everything is going to hit is going to be lit, like the top here, and then you're going to have some shadow over here. And once you know that, then you can create all sorts of different kind of, little bumps and holes in your rocks, or even cracks. Really, a crack, if you want to do it, that's going to add a lot of visual interest as well. You could simply just make, some sort of a line like this, and maybe it goes back up like this. And once you designed it, just like that, you simply have to start carving into it a little bit, and then just start to render it. And then from there, like I have the crack, now you have to think about the light. Now I did the shadow, but this crack is going to have some light, so maybe there's the light that hits this part right here. And it's just that basically, if you know where the light direction is hitting the object, then you'll be able to do this. It's really easy to do. It's going to continue here. Just imagine that there's a border basically with some light. And if it's in the shadow, then it should be darker, but it should still be there. And there you go. So now I did a crack that goes into side by side of this object. So this is what I wanted to show in this video, guys. So if you're using a lot of texture, if you're a texture heavy kind of person, just make sure to add those little piece of interest on your illustration, and that's going to help a lot with the realism of your texture itself, because those pieces are also called texture. Holes into your cubes or whatever you're creating, it's considered texture as well. So don't just use a texture. Definitely use it as a base to start, but then try to design those little holes and bumps on everything. It's going to add a lot of realism. So I hope this was helpful. And to make sure you can actually practice what I showed you in this video, I created an exercise sheet that you can download right here on your screen. You simply have to click on the icon to download it and give it a try. And that's it for this video. You can go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more of them. And as usual, happy painting.